Good morning and welcome to Valley Views. I'm your host, Glenn Edison, and I'm certainly glad to have you today. And as always, you can see our programming on BTC Fiber's YouTube page as well as BTC Fiber's Channel 18. And today we have with us none other than Cody McCarver. Everybody knows Cody, or should. If you don't, this is Cody. But Cody, it's good to have you today.
It's good to be here. Always good to be with you.
And today we want to talk about Valley Fest and then a special thing we've got coming up about the Songwriter Festival coming into town. That's kind of exciting, something that's we want people to be familiar with. But first, Valley Fest is coming right up, just what, a couple of weeks, 3 weeks away?
May 7th and 8th is Valley Fest. And I think this is our 10th or 11th year. I lose track of one of them because we didn't have one because of COVID. And it's our 11th
one, because last year was 10.
Yeah, and we were able to, because of great sponsors like Bledsoe Telephone, Cooperative, Bledsoe Fiber, who do a great job in our community. We were very fortunate to be able last year for it to be our first free Valley Fest.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And our headliner was Shenandoah, and so they were friends of mine. Through a friend of mine in over in Winchester, Tennessee, we managed to get Shenandoah here. So that was a big deal. I think it was our biggest crowd ever.
I think so.
I remember Citizens Tri-County Bank telling me they sold 5,000 hamburgers. Wow. That's not the right number, but it was a bunch.
Yeah.
And it was our biggest crowd ever. So then this is the 11th year, and we're hoping we're going to have a big crowd again.
Well, it looks like from the lineup, it looks really good, exciting.
Well, clear something up. Friday night, May 6th, a group called Freedom Sings is going to be doing that part of Valley Fest. That we've attached that to Valley Fest, but it's actually not Valley Fest. That makes sense, okay? So normally on Friday night we sometimes have music, sometimes we haven't, but this year Freedom Sings, tell you a little bit about them. I've been involved with them off and on for a few years, and well, when they were called Operation Song. Songwriters like Don Goodman wrote Angels Among Us for Alabama.
Yeah.
It's probably his biggest record, but he wrote a lot of others. Songwriters, and I've done this myself, go in and sit down with a veteran. And if that veteran might be dealing with PTSD, and these veterans go, most of them Vietnam, but some of them, we're losing a lot of those veterans.
Right.
Before that. And I have such a great deal of respect for a veteran.
Yeah.
And we have songwriters that'll go in and sit down with these guys and write a song and help maybe tell their story.
Right.
Then they actually go record the songs, manufacture a CD, sell the CD, and give money back to the group.
Oh.
So our veterans here in Dunlap, the VFW, which is awesome. If you hadn't seen it, it's beautiful. Right. Hopefully some of this money that's going to be raised on Friday night will go help our veterans.
Oh, good.
And our VFW. And that night is the Charlie Daniels Band. Now, we all know that Charlie, first thing, it was posted on Facebook. First thing people started saying, well, Charlie Daniels is no longer with us. Yeah, he's no longer with us. But the band, the Charlie Daniels Band, is going to be here.
Now, they're a good band, I've heard.
Yes, absolutely. And there's going to be somebody different singing for them. There's even been talk of me singing a couple of songs because I am a huge Charlie Daniels fan.
Yeah.
Charlie was in my music video for I'm America. And when I was in Confederate Railroad, we toured with Charlie a lot. So I love Charlie Daniels. The Charlie Daniels Band's going to be here. And Donovan Chapman, supposed to have had Hunter Girl right now is killing it on American Idol.
Yeah.
So I don't know, and vote for her. Stop everything you're doing and vote for Hunter Girl. She's local to us here. And but there's going to be a bunch of great music. Bill Hatfield, I think, and the Wild Wind Band's part of that. And then Saturday, Valley Fest opens and kicks off with I think Legacy, Drew Sturkey.
Right.
The trying to think, I'm being asked to call these off the top of my head. Jason Lee Williams, or Jason Lee Wilson, I'm sorry. He is our first rockabilly band.
Yeah.
So we're going to have some great rockabilly music. Mark Herndon who is the drummer for the band Alabama.
Right.
His wife is a great singer. Mark will be here.
Oh, well, good.
And his wife is just one of the greatest singers. And then Saturday night will end with what's called Revisiting Creedence. And I've had several people like, what is the Revisiting Creedence? It's Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. There was lawsuits back in the day between John Fogerty and the band, and a lot of things happened, so they can no longer call themselves Creedence Clearwater Revival. But it's Creedence Clearwater Revival. And but they're called Revisiting Creedence.
That's my kind of music.
Yeah, and they're going to be playing all those songs like, you know, Bad Moon Rising, Have You Ever Seen the Rain? And I think they were a good fit for Valley Fest this year because of the veterans thing. You know, a lot of Have You Ever Seen the Rain, as I'm told, was written about bombs coming out of the air in Vietnam.
Yeah.
So then on Sunday, Sweet Tea Trio. I don't know everybody that's on the list off the top of my head. Ethan probably does, and he's watching this. And Carrie Hassler. So Carrie is just fabulous, and Sweet Tea Trio, somebody we've been trying to get here for a while. And so we got some bluegrass, we got some rock, we got some rockabilly, we got some blues, and it's going to be a great time at Valley Fest. And everybody works so hard for Valley Fest to make this happen. You know, people ain't getting paid to book, or people ain't getting paid to make sure there's a porta potty for you. Those things are just all volunteer, and 11 years later, it's still going.
And this year we'll have our own stage.
How about that?
That's neat.
Yeah, it's we have a beautiful stage, you know, at Harris Park.
Right.
And then Valley Fest has its own property here, which is 17 acres. I'm pointing like you're supposed to know where I'm talking about, but it's 17 acres, and there is a beautiful stage being built on it.
Yes, it's really pretty.
So that's where we'll have more and more events, and hopefully people can use the stage at Harris Park, use this one. I want to see, as you know, where you're sitting here right now is we're in the Dunlap Mercantile. And I've been in the music business all my life. It's really all I've ever done, other than had a nursery business, landscaping, with my father when I was younger. And then I got ignorant and went into the music business. But all my life I've made a living playing music, and now we're bringing more and more music to Dunlap, if you notice.
Right. Yes. Mm-hmm.
And the studio that's being built back here behind us, we're gonna be making records, and we got the yard, got music in it, we got Valley Fest, we got the stage at Harris Park, all this stuff's going on, and I think that ain't happening by accident.
No.
And it is, I'd like to see this little part of Dunlap, Tennessee become a mini Muscle Shoals.
Yes.
And let's create some cool music right here, and have people come to Dunlap knowing that, man, they got a lot of great music in Dunlap, Tennessee.
Oh, that'd
so
be
much
great.
talent.
Yes, there's a lot of talent.
Yes, absolutely. Locally, there's a lot of talent. So I'm excited to see what the next 2-3 years brings.
Well, that sounds great. And speaking of what next brings, we've got a new event this year, that the Songwriters event, coming up the week after Valley Fest.
Yep, May the 14th and 15th. And best way I know to explain it is without a songwriter, there's not a song.
Right.
And a lot of people, you know, they turn on their radio, or they listen to their music on Amazon, or wherever they listen to their music. I got this creepy thing at my house, I can talk to it and they play whatever I want. I think her name's Alexa or something like that. But wherever you listen to your music, you know, a lot of times people don't think about who wrote that.
Right.
Where did those words come from?
Not necessarily the band members, it was somebody else.
Many
separate
times.
apart from the band.
Who wrote Have You Ever Seen the Rain? Have you really thought about that? You know, who wrote Simple Man for Charlie Daniels? Which Charlie did, but, you know, George Strait never wrote a song.
Yeah.
You know, I've read articles where George Strait, who is the king of country music as far as I'm concerned, said, you know, as long as songwriters don't start singing, I won't start writing songs. And I want people to appreciate the songwriter. I write songs. Most everything I've recorded, I wrote. I've wrote songs for movies. I wrote songs for other artists. John Schneider's new single is called Younger Man, I wrote.
Oh, okay, great.
And I wrote it by myself for Viola. And Then John heard it, and I feel like God kind of had me write that song for him because he needed it where he is with his life right now. It was a good thing for him. So the songwriter to me is special. Chris Christopherson is a songwriter.
Right.
And Johnny Cash was a songwriter, and Willie Nelson, evidently, was one of the greatest songwriters. When you start looking at, he wrote "Crazy." Yeah. People really know that for Patsy Cline. And so we're going to have a songwriters festival. Janice Adams, at the Dunlap Chamber, the Scotts County Chamber of Commerce, she and I sat down and started talking about how to do some sort of a cool festival here in downtown. And I said we should do a songwriters festival because I'm starting to get more and more people say something to me about songwriters. We put together this festival. It's going to take up the Game Shack, which is on the corner of Cherry and Rankin. Then the Dunlap Mercantile, and it's going to be in the Yard, which is our other music venue here. So Roger Allen Wade is one of the artists that's coming, who is a writer who wrote "Laid Up Here in the Country State of Mind" for Hank Jr. and a lot of other cool songs, and a lot of stuff for film and things like that he's done. And Bobby Tomerlin is coming, and Bobby Tomerlin wrote "One More Day" for Diamond Rio, who we had here July 4th, you remember, a couple years ago. He wrote stuff for Hank Jr., wrote for Johnny Cash. We got Martin Nairmore coming, who wrote "That's What I Love About Sundays" for Craig Morgan. A lot of other great songs. And Jimmy Wayne, who I just saw Jimmy Wayne on this new TV show. It's on Fox News called "The Jesus That I Know." And Jimmy was on there, and Jimmy is a great country artist. He had 2 or 3 big hit records as an artist, but he was a foster child.
What?
And he has a real great story, and he's going to be here on Sunday, the 15th, and get to tell his story and sing some songs that he wrote. And if you don't know who Jimmy Wayne is, look him up and find him singing a song called "Sarah Smiles," which was a Hall & Oates song.
Oh, yes, I remember.
And he's sitting with Daryl Hall singing it. And he sings it better than Daryl Hall. And so Keith Burns is going to be here. Keith Burns from the band Trick Pony. And who's a great friend, who's just a great songwriter. Lou Card's going to be here. We just got Jay Edwards. If you don't know who Jay Edwards is, look Jay up. He sounds like Michael Bolton. We just got a bunch of great lyricists and great people and a bunch of food. I like the food aspect of it. And Janice's been on vacation a little while, so I'm waiting for her to get back so she can fill me in on all the hard work she's putting into this thing at the chamber. So the songwriter is, to me, the most special part of music, period.
Now, is that going to be something we try to do every year?
Well, I'm calling it the first annual one. And so that hopefully leads us to a second annual. But we need people to come.
Yeah.
We need people to come. It's free. Come downtown. We got, for example, one vendor coming called the Crab Trap. If you don't know who the Crab Trap is, look them up on Facebook. Look up our Songwriters Festival Dunlap, Tennessee on Facebook and Instagram. And if you love seafood, man, this is the stuff.
Yeah.
It's great food. We have some vendors, craft vendors, food vendors. You'll get to come walk up and down the streets here. The way I want to see this happen is you get here, you walk into the Game Shack, there's somebody playing, and they're going to play for an hour and a half. Then when that show's done, then you're going to go into the Yard. There's going to be another batch of songwriters. Then you're going to go back to the Game Shack. Then you're going to come to the Mercantile, and it's just going to be a rotating thing. Yeah, we may even put people out on the sidewalk. You know how you go to Nashville and you see folks sitting on the sidewalk playing with their case open?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I'm thinking about we should do that.
Hey, why not?
Make it all about the music and all about the songwriter.
Yeah, that sounds great. It sounds like it's going to be real exciting. And
yeah.
And like you said, this area is getting more and more talent musical-wise.
Yeah.
Whether they sing or play, it seems like every time you turn around, there's somebody new that's coming on the scene locally.
Yeah, it's Randy Black, who owned him and his wife that owned the Game Shack. Man, I give Randy a ton of credit because Randy does a whole lot of quote unquote tutoring. it's like, so he gets these guys and gals that come in and they want to play somewhere and they don't really have somewhere they can play. Right. And he's like, yeah, play here. And you go upstairs in the game shack, he's got drums and guitars and amps and everything sitting there. Play here, and he pays them, and sometimes nobody comes to hear him, and sometimes a lot of people do.
Yeah.
But he is so supportive of local talent.
And he's opening up a new shop. I don't know if he wants me to tell this or not, but soon with guitars and other instruments.
Yeah, and it's he's got 2 game shack buildings, right?
Right.
And you can already go into the one, and he's got a wall full of guitars, and he's always 4 steps ahead of me. So we wanted to put in a coffee shop. Well, he'd already done it,
Yeah.
I had it in the works, and then I thought about, it'd be cool to have a guitar store in Dunlap. Music Makers does a great job of teaching and selling some things, but Jill's kind of got away, I think, from having a building full of guitars.
Yeah.
And I wanted to have some like vintage stuff, vintage Gibson, vintage Martin, vintage guitars. And if you sell them, you sell them. If you don't, they're vintage. They're cool. But Randy's got that. He's doing that right now. So I love what he's doing. I love what Jenna's doing here downtown in the local depot. I love what we're doing at the Mercantile. I love the studio's going to open up. We're going to be able to make records here in Dunlap.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah, you gonna sing?
Hey, yeah, why not? You may not want to record
We'll get Ethan to make us a record. I'd say he could probably do that.
Yeah, Ethan, he can do a good job.
And old Boer in there, I know he'll come down and sing some too. But I want to say this, that when you come to the studio, sitting here thinking about Charles and Ethan and all the people involved, we lost Danny Wallace recently, and Danny was a board member of Bledsoe Telephone Cooperative, and Danny was also mayor of Dunlap once upon a time. He owned Danny's Auto Parts. You remember that?
Right.
I was just a little boy, man. My daddy took me into Danny's Auto Parts. We was all the time in and out of there, and I'm always friends with Danny. He'll be missed in this community. But this little piece of grass that's out beside the studio there, we put a phone booth on it.
Yes.
You'd be shocked at the kids that walk by and look at this thing and they don't know what it is, right? They don't know what a phone booth is. They don't get their picture took in it. And that's kind of our tribute to Bledsoe Telephone because of the fact that little piece of grass right there, we wanted to have it for a place for people to sit and have lunch and sit and just enjoy the sun. And the beautiful cherry trees that are sitting there.
Right.
And Danny and the board and those guys, they voted. I don't know if I should say this, but they voted and ended up donating that.
Well.
And with some stipulations, which is understood, but they donated it to our kind of cause here of bringing the music and everything to Dunlap. And Danny was part of that, and I love all those guys, and I'm gonna miss Danny. So say a prayer for his family because they're good folks.
Well, it sounds like there's just a lot of good things coming up, and people should be excited about getting out. I know many years ago, before Dunlap was even growing, people said, well, there's nothing to do. Well, now there's plenty to do.
Yeah, I can't complain about that no more.
No.
We got some great restaurants in Dunlap. We got some great food. We have a restaurant going to go in downtown here. Everything takes time. Coops Creek Outfitters is being restored, which is an old building over here on Cherry Street. It's going to be a place to buy hunting and fishing and hiking and hang gliding, whatever it is to do around here you want to do. We're going to have that place. So we're going to have a lot to do. We're going to have more concerts in the Mercantile, more concerts in the Yard on Fridays. So stay, look up the Facebook page for the Yard. And Baylor's booking some great music in there. So we have a lot of cool things going on in Dunlap. Man, I really want Dunlap to be recognized as a music town. There's this valley, not just Dunlap, but this valley. There's so much talent, man. One of the greatest guitar players that I know in the world, his name is Zach Oldendorf.
Yeah.
And he's from Pikeville.
Yes.
And his daddy is that good.
Yeah.
And so we want that music here, and we want whoever's the best in Whitwell here. We want this valley to grow and people to go, man, there's a lot of talent in the valley. And the Songwriters Festival this being the first year of it, we need people to come. Have a lot of people thinking that it is a contest.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not a contest. I don't like contest. I don't. It's okay, I guess, but my favorite singer in the whole world is Waylon Jennings.
Yeah.
And until somebody else comes along, he's always going to be my favorite. And I heard Waylon say one time he would never go to the CMA Awards and things, even though he would win.
Yeah.
He wouldn't go. And he said, I don't feel like artists should compete against one another. I think artists should help one another.
Right.
And that's always kind of stuck with me.
Uh-huh.
And, I watched American Idol for the first time this year.
Yeah.
It's been on for years.
Yeah,
and I've
right.
never watched it because I don't like that, And I watched it this year, and I watched some little young girl or young guy get up and they just get their soul crushed.
Yeah.
Because you're not good enough. Well, yeah, you are, but maybe you need a little work,
Yeah,
maybe we need
yeah.
to help you. Maybe
Right.
we need to help each other. So the songwriters thing is not a competition. It is a list of premier, literally world-renowned songwriters that are going to be here in Dunlap and tell their stories, Tell
Uh-huh.
why did, I want you to hear Bobby Tomerlin tell why did I write One More Day for Diamond Rito? Why did I write that? He'll tell you that story as he does it, And just to get to hear, like the Bluebird Cafe. Everybody's probably heard of the Bluebird Cafe and how it's legendary songwriters go there to perform. They're begging to get in there and play. I want that here. I want the Bluebird Cafe to be here in Dunlap.
Yeah.
And we got bigger venues than it because Bluebird ain't very big. So I love the songwriters. I want the songwriters to be recognized.
Uh-huh.
And then you take all that. You got the whole month of May. I got to go on the road and play too. So
Yeah, you got to make a little money. So.
yeah, I got to make money somehow because all this other stuff's free now, right? But we have Valley Fest, and we have the Songwriters Festival, and then the 4th of July coming, and it's just going to be lots of music right here in Dunlap, and I love it.
Well, that sounds great. It sounds like a lot of good things going on, a lot of good things planned for further on down the road as well.
Yeah, I'm excited about where the music scene takes us. It's I think even the Airbnbs that we put in back here are all
Uh-huh.
themed for music. So
Right.
man, I just kind of get to live my dream every day. I love it.
Well, that sounds great. It sounds like you're having fun.
Yeah, it's tiresome, but I wanted to. I traveled on the road. Like I remember there was years where I was going on the road for 295 nights,
Wow.
literally gone, and playing 250 of those probably. And I couldn't wait to get home.
Oh, I bet.
There'd be times when I was like, boy, I just want to see Dunlap again and get back to these beautiful mountains and see it all. And now I'm kind of like, they want to go on the road so I get some rest.
Yeah. You probably need it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Cody, it's been a pleasure being with you today, and I'm looking forward to all the things that are coming down the pike. And Valley Fest coming up. That's going to be exciting. Sounds like it's going to really be a
BTC Fiber Valley Fest.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's going to be special. You got Creedence Clearwater Revival, man. That's hard to beat that.
Oh, I know that. When I heard the Charlie Daniels band was going to be there, I thought, okay.
Yeah.
And now with the Creedence, that's right down my alley.
Right up here at mine too, man. Right,
So
mine too.
I could just sit there and listen all night long.
Yep, it's going to be a special time, and got great vendors coming, and it's going to be fun. So Valley Fest which is May 7 and 8.
Right.
Don't forget that on the 6th, Freedom Sings, and that's when the Charlie Daniels band's going to be there. Donovan Chapman's going to be there. It's a lot of great talent.
Well, that sounds great. It seems like Dunlap is drawing that talent, so maybe some of them will decide to move here one day.
Yeah,
And,
yeah, that would be. There's a lot of people moving here.
Yeah.
A lot of people moving here.
Maybe we could be a little Nashville, a little Muscle Shows.
Let's start as a little muscle shows.
Yeah.
Too much traffic in Nashville.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, again, thanks for being with us, Cody, and I appreciate it. And folks, again, thank you for watching, and you can see this program on BTC Fiber's YouTube page as well as BTC Fiber's Channel 18. So until next time, have a great day. Hey everybody, this is Glenn Edison from Valley Views. We appreciate you watching our shows, and we would like for you to like, share, and follow us on Facebook, as well as like and subscribe to our YouTube page.
Brought to you by Bledsoe Telephone Cooperative, your full-service telecommunications provider right here in the Sequatchie Valley.